another posse, and this is, when we're talking about counters, we're talking about the Abernathy County Lawmen. This posse is really the counter to the Rough Riders, and that is the Bushwhackers.
Yeah.
The Bushwhackers are basically a remnant group of guerrilla fighters from the Civil War who refuse to give up.
Right. So we, in this universe, which again is a fictional universe, these characters, we've written the Bible about these characters, and we've kind of played around with what does their timeline look like? Where do they come from? Who do they hate? Who do they love? What are their motivations? And so, whereas Colonel Rogers is a splinter group of veterans who feel like their job is to go out and dominate the countryside. The Bushwhackers are kind of their foil. They see themselves as freedom-loving guys, and they want to go out, and they don't want anyone telling them what to do. And if they see any of those types of Colonel Rogers, those Rough Riders, we're going to attack them on sight.
Now, you see, the thing is, this also kind of fleshes out Colonel Rogers because it really exposes people to the first instance, the first historical record of Colonel Rogers' true villainy.
Yeah.
People don't realize, maybe or may not realize right out of the gate of High Noon, Colonel Rogers is actually a very, very bad guy. And so the Bushwhackers, they're not good guys by any means, but they are the tragedy that really spawned Colonel Rogers' his initial bloodlust. They're basically a group of guys who survived what was essentially a massacre during the Civil War, where there was a band of Confederates who were surrendering, and Colonel Rogers was like, "Yeah, no, we're just going to kill you." And so then the Confederates tried to retreat, and they chased them down into Minetto Creek, which ran to this town, and he slaughtered them all in the creek until the blood ran red, or the creek ran red with blood, and so that became the Bloodcreek Massacre, and so they call themselves the Bloodcreek Bushwhackers. Now, because they're holdouts of basically a war that's been over for a long time, and nobody really likes them or agrees with them, they're on their own. They're malnourished. They're always seeking refuge somewhere, and so they can't really rely on straight head-to-head fighting. They've got to rely on guerrilla tactics, sabotage, these kind of things. So what they do is they basically create uncertainty on the battlefield. They have cards that allow them to move forward when you don't expect and just slice your throat. They have cards much like the Los Hermanos where they can respond people, and they can respond them anywhere. And this is the bigger one, they can actually blow up loot crates.
Right.
They could completely remove them from the field.
That sounds like a one-liner, but it's really a huge deal on actual gameplay. I think there's several games where I've gone to go get loot because I've expended all this opportunity cost, and I think I'm sneaking to the loot because I'm going to get there and no one's going to see me, and it blows up in my face.
Yeah, and then it's gone. It's like you don't just take damage and then you flip the loot crate over to loot it so you can't loot it. No, that crate is gone. So not only do you not get the loot, you can't hide behind that thing for cover. You've taken damage, and now you're way out in the open.
Right.
It's a devastating card, anyway, and a devastating posse, and that's the Bloodcreek Bushwhackers, and you're going to love it.